Let's move on to the wide receiver room.
Oh,
a lot of talent.
The leapfrog.
In this wide receiver room. Talk to us about the leapfrog.
Yeah, DeVonta Smith gets taken by Philly, trades up with the Dallas Cowboys, moves to the 10th spot,
10th spot.
and takes DeVonta Smith. And in my personal opinion, this is an amazing pick. There's no one else besides Jalen Reagor on this team, and this is a huge fantasy impact immediately.
Yeah, I think he's a guy you're going to be wanting to target in the later rounds. Let's actually talk about where you have him ranked in a redraft league. Dynasty is going to be ranked real high, but in a redraft league, I'm curious where your ranking is for year one as a rookie for DeVonta Smith. What wide receiver do you have him ranked as right now?
DeVonta Smith right now, at the very moment, I have him wide receiver 30.
Okay, I have him wide receiver 31.
Yeah. So he kind of falls in. So the people that I have around him at the moment, just to give you guys a brief kind of understanding, I have him around Debo. I see a Chase Claypool around him. That for me in my rankings,
Same.
That's who I have. DeVonta Smith around. I think he will later on in the season, or getting close to the season, he will rise in the rankings in redrafts potentially. But
he has a chance to be a top 15 wide receiver. Like, that is his ceiling. I'm not saying it will happen, but that's his ceiling. That's the kind of guy you want to target in the later rounds, who could be have a Justin Jefferson type fantasy output.
What's a later round for you? Because obviously this is redrafts. And I can tell you in my first thought process, this looks like a late 4th, early 5th pick.
I would say 5th round is where I'm looking more comfortable.
Okay.
Guys I'm taking over, or guys the people I'm taking DeVonta Smith over are Odell Beckham, Tyler Boyd, Robbie Anderson, obviously Jalen Waddle. So hopefully that helps. Obviously, like we've said, we've plugged this all podcast, but if you want our full rankings, patreon.com/fantasylandfam, sign up to any tier to unlock that.
Mm-hmm.
Love the fit, just to recap. We love the fit for DeVonta Smith and really excited about him there in Philadelphia. Kadarius Toney.
Oh, boy. New York Football Giants
move back and grab Kadarius Toney. It's an interesting fit the more you think about it, because it's not necessarily what anyone saw coming. It's not the culture fit, quote unquote, for the New York Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Kadarius Toney, let me just tell you my opinion, non-bias, this is a good pick, okay? For fantasy.
Let me tell you my opinion, completely non-biased.
No, and
I love the pick. It's great.
No, yeah, and I'll give you both of my non-biased and biased. Non-biased is Kadarius Toney going to make an immediate impact on this team, or is going to be an immediate impact for fantasy relevance? Not immediately. Okay. Is Kadarius Toney going to be moving up in my rankings later on in the season once I understand how the Giants are going to use him? I believe so. I think everyone will move him up. I think he will become the slot receiver. Okay. I think everyone knew that already. He's going to be filling in and taking over Sterling Shepard's targets.
Okay, so you like the fit. Personally, for me, I don't love this fit. There's a lot of other teams I would have probably rather have seen him land in. And I just think about all the options already there. You guys had a good offseason. You got Kenny Golladay. You've got Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram. And then between Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, is he like the 4th option there? Is he the 3rd? I don't know. And what sort of fantasy output are we going to see from a Daniel Jones-led offense anyway?
Yeah.
Personally, I don't believe in him.
I think that's where everyone is at right now. Everyone's evaluation for Kadarius Toney is really low because of Daniel Jones. You're right. I'm that way as well. Kadarius Toney falls into slot receiver. He's a number 1 slot receiver, in my opinion.
I just don't know that we can say that for sure. So he's one of the rookies who are really, really difficult to rank, but he's not in my top 50. I'll just say that in a redraft. He's not in my top 50. I don't know where he lands in yours.
I will have to check.
So there's potential, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like there's an immediate impact that could happen here. Okay, let's move on to Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore lands in Arizona in the desert with Kyler Murray. I can't express how excited I am about this pick. I'm more excited about Rondale Moore than I am Kadarius Toney. Sorry. Than I am Terrace Marshall, Amari Rodgers. I think I'm more excited about this pick than any wide receiver that didn't go in the first, right?
Right.
I just see massive potential here. Lands in a great offense. There's not a clear wide receiver 2 option in this team. Obviously, you got DeAndre Hopkins. Is Christian Kirk that guy? No, he's not really shown to be that wide receiver 2 guy. How about Larry? Well, Larry he shouldn't have retired. He's a legend. He can do whatever the hell he wants. But he's probably going to retire before the season begins.
Right.
Still unknown. And Andy Isabella obviously wasn't that guy. Rondale Moore, massive, massive athlete. Big potential. I see him moving all over the field and making it way more difficult to guard this team. I think it's great for the running backs. It's great for Kyler. It's great for D-Hop. And it's not a pick where you're like, oh, there's too many mouths to feed now. It's like, no, this is actually great for every fantasy option in Arizona. I love the pick. I think there's big potential year 1 and in Dynasty.
Yeah, I like the pick as well. I think I'm still hesitant just purely because of Kyler Murray. If you know me, I know I love Kyler Murray. I just think that he still uses his legs too much and he doesn't actually make... even though DeAndre Hopkins was a top receiver, but it's DeAndre Hopkins. He's completely different. He's in his own different world. I love this pick or this spot for Rondale Moore. I do believe he becomes a wide receiver 2 in this offense. I do believe they're going to use him in the backfield as well. They're going to use him as jet sweeps. They're going to use him in those little gadget plays. I like it. Does he make big impact? I guess comparing to what Zach's saying, in my books, I don't see the massive impact. I need to see it first.
Okay.
I need to see. There's people that I can say, right? People that we're going to be talking about that I can see that is going to have big impact. But Rondale Moore for me.
I would love to know the wide receivers, even Kadarius. So wait, you would rather have Kadarius Toney?
No, I would rather have Rondale Moore. But I'm saying like,
outside of the first round, what's a wide receiver? Because we're going to talk about them all. But what's a wide receiver you would rather have over Rondale Moore?
That was just drafted?
Yeah.
Amari Rodgers if Aaron Rodgers stays.
Okay.
I'm interested in Amon-Ra St. Brown because there's no one else to compete with him. Not that I want him. It's really it's like Rondale Moore and then Amon-Ra St. Brown if I had to give you a ranking, like he's right underneath. But other than that, there's no one else. It's just Amari Rodgers because if Aaron Rodgers does stay, I believe that connection is going to be incredible. It's a Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson type vibe.
For me, I just don't see Rodgers staying. Terrace Marshall lands in Carolina, a guy you like. Do you like this fit?
Yeah, it's a decent fit for me in my personal opinion. Do I believe he becomes fantasy relevant immediately? I don't think so. I think you'll see games where, he'll catch that deep ball, he'll catch a 30-yard touchdown, maybe 1 or 2 games. Does he get a lot of targets? I don't think so. DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, I think he's clearly your ex-receiver in this offense. And, I like it. Am I excited to pick him up? Where am I picking him up in these late rounds? Honestly,
it's hard.
It's hard to say. I actually don't know.
I have him ranked as my wide receiver 63.
In Dynasty?
This is redraft.
In redrafts?
It's just so hard to rank these players without seeing them on the field. Personally, I have him
69 in my rankings.
I don't have him seeing so I'm higher than you, which is funny because you love him, but it's just hard to see a massive year 1 for him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have I think he'll, at best, top.
There's so many variables.
35. I don't know.
There's just so many variables. Like you think Sam Darnold's new. Sam Darnold could be an amazing quarterback. He could actually just be not good. Like, we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really found the answer on that yet. CMC's back. How many targets are you really getting in between CMC, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson? How much is left over?
Right.
I don't know. So it's interesting. I'm more excited Dynasty or even Keeper. Like, I'd be really excited if you had a Keeper league. You could draft him really late in leagues. And if he does take off towards the end of the year, could be a guy you could take in a Keeper league.
Right.
Okay, big surprise was Dwayne Eskridge going to the Seahawks in the second round. We liked Eskridge, but we didn't think he would be anything higher than a late third, right? I mean, so this was a massive surprise. This was their first pick for Seattle, so obviously they really do believe in this guy to take him with their first pick in the second round, first overall for them.
Correct.
Is this a nice fit? I mean, obviously Russell Wilson's there, but they just signed a long-term contract to Tyler Lockett. How are we feeling about this landing spot?
It makes sense in my opinion. You know, obviously DK's your ex-receiver, Tyler Lockett either can be your number 2 or in the slot. Dwayne, I think Tyler Lockett is really versatile where he can be on either side. I personally believe he stays in the slot and then Dwayne goes on the outside. So it makes sense to have that receiver. I guess he's your wide receiver, essentially, if I'm saying that correctly. But I think Dwayne comes in and not that he makes a massive impact, but I think he will get some touches. Yeah.
This is another guy that's really difficult to rank because if he was taken in the 4th round, it'd be easy. That's where we kind of saw him going.
Correct.
It's like, oh, well, maybe a guy you think about in the future. But when you take a guy in the 2nd round, it feels like there's a plan for him. So again, keeper leagues could be a guy you take with your last couple picks to see what happens. Dynasty leagues, maybe there's some upside, but you always have to be a little bit worried. This guy's attached to Russell Wilson. Where is Russell Wilson going to be? There always has to be a little bit of worry there thinking about the future. Another guy that was taken in the 2nd round that was an absolute surprise to everyone, I think, was Tutu Atwell landing with the Los Angeles Rams. Again, the Rams they didn't have a 1st round pick. So similar to Seattle, this was their first pick in the draft.
Correct.
I say this, it's like a dumb question. Is Sean McVay got a massive plan that we don't see? Because obviously he drafted this guy super early. Maybe there is potential here. McVay is just ready to unleash it on the league.
You know what I see? You know what I see happening? I see Roberto Woods becoming more of a blocker. You know how every time I was like, if Roberto Woods is in motion, it's a handoff to Robert Woods, right? And I think
you haven't said that. You haven't actually said that name in a while.
Roberto Woods. Come on,
Bobby
baby.
Trees. Oh my god. I can't wait to actually get into the season so we can talk about these guys.
But the way I see it is that when they do the jet sweeps and stuff like that, Tutu Atwell is going to be that guy that's taking those handoffs away from Roberto Woods. Is it a lot?
And Cooper.
I don't know. Yeah. What's the impact? At the moment, with my gut feeling, I don't see anything happening. I don't think it impacts Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp at the moment. I think for me right now, I have to play it like, you know what? Tutu Atwell is just a guy they add on their team. He'll probably get 1 or 2 touches. Other than that, when I say 1 or 2 touches, maybe like 3 to 5 a game, potentially. Yeah, nothing crazy.
Again, this is really, really hard to evaluate in rankings. But I'm going to ask you, Dynasty startup rankings, just for Dynasty rankings in general, not rookie only, but Dynasty rankings. Where do you have him ranked? I will say I personally have him ranked 52, wide receiver 52. That feels low because I feel like there's a high upside, but there's just so many guys I can't put him above so many other people because I just don't know what the future will look like for Tutu. Where do you have him?
Honestly, there's so many names. I'm just trying to find him at the moment.
Not rookie only, but
Tutu. Where you at, brother?
Tutu.
I have him 71.
Wow. In a rookie or not rookie, sorry, dynasty startup.
Dynasty startup.
rankings?
I have him 91.
91.
Sorry, 71. 71.
Wow. So who's above him for you? Because that's way different to me.
Yeah. Above him, just random people. I see Alan Lazard, Nelson Aguilar. I don't know how your rankings are looking. I have Gabriel Davis just above him. Like, there's not that many people that are like huge fantasy impact around him for me.
So when I play Dynasty, I'm always looking at just
longevity.
So a guy like Gabriel Davis, a guy like who else did you say? Like Alan Lazard. For me, like I just approach Dynasty a little bit differently and think I'm a way more riskier Dynasty player than I am redraft.
Mm-hmm.
So with Dynasty, I'm like, man, Tutu Atwell, he could be a guy that McVay has a plan for. So I would rather have him over like an Alan Lazard, who I know what his role is already.
Right.
It could absolutely not pan out.
I think,
and Lazard has a way more valuable career.
Yeah.
But it's just,
I think
I take a little bit more risk.
The way I kind of put things into perspective is like, okay, who's their quarterback? How long they have been in the league, and what happens from there. So, like, for example, Gabriel Davis, he has Josh Allen, and Gabriel Davis for a quick moment in the offseason, he was number 2 until Emmanuel Sanders came in. Does that mean that he's completely irrelevant? No, because I see Emmanuel Sanders only being there for the year, and maybe he does get hurt, like we all know Emmanuel Sanders does, and Gabriel Davis can kind of step into that role.
Yeah.
That's how I'm seeing it.
I don't hate being attached to Matthew Stafford, though. Last question here. Is this going to negatively affect Woods, Cup, or Akers at all?
I don't think so. Okay. None whatsoever.
All right. Amari Rodgers in the 3rd round lands in Green Bay, and it was hilarious to watch in the draft because the announcers were extremely hyped. Oh my God, they drafted a wide receiver. And his name is A. Rodgers. Will we ever see A. Rodgers to A. Rodgers? We don't know. I think no. You think?
I think there's a chance he stays.
Okay. I don't think there is a chance. He's just a stubborn dude because he's just one of the best. Like, he's just got that. But anyway, that's a completely different podcast. If Rodgers stays, there's massive value. If he doesn't, this is really hard to gauge his value going forward. He could be a guy that we don't even talk about ever. Like, he's got talent, but we don't know who Jordan Love is. Biggest question mark in the league, really.
Correct.
So how do you evaluate Amari Rodgers? I like the spot, but it's hard.
Look, you have to evaluate him with hoping that, I mean, if you want to put the work in, evaluate him in both perspectives, but I have him evaluated with Aaron Rodgers on the team right now until he gets traded.
Okay.
And I love Amari Rodgers.
So then I guess we'll ask the same question that I asked with Tutu. Dynasty rankings amongst all receivers, where is he for you then? I have him ranked the 55th wide receiver 55.
Oh, here we go. I have him 49.
Okay. So you're obviously slightly higher than I am. You would have him over Tutu then? You would have him over Dwayne Eskridge?
Yes.
Do you have him over Kadarius Toney?
Yes.
Wow. So you're actually significantly higher than me here.
Look, I like this fit. I think he can be a late round wide receiver. Let me rephrase that. He can be in my opinion, he's a slot receiver.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, we all know what he does with slot receivers, and the slot receivers that he had.
Yeah. There's massive value if Rodgers.
You know, like if Rodgers is there, Amari Rodgers is going to be massive, bro. Like, there's no way. Yeah. I mean, I really hope that he doesn't leave.
My ranking is all the rankings I've had to do with Green Bay have been with Rodgers leaving, because that's what I think is going to happen right now. That's what I'm predicting. Right. So I have significantly lowered my value on every Green Bay Packer.
I think it's hard for me. It's just hard to evaluate them until he's not there.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, Dyami Brown heads to Washington.
Your Washington football team.
3rd round, and I love the pick. Dyami Brown loves it. He said that basically Washington can compete with the Chiefs as far as speed goes in their wide receiver core. I don't know that we're there yet, but how do you feel about this fit before I say how I feel?
Look.
Good, bad, or just meh?
For me, it's meh. It's not terrible. You know, obviously Terry's there. Curtis Samuel is there. You know, you have Fitzmagic there as well that can have a field day with this guy, but I don't see any fantasy huge impact in year one unless either somebody gets who's your wide receiver too?
Curtis Samuel.
Who's your slot receiver? Dyami Brown now?
Slot receiver was Steven Sims last year. Will probably be Dyami. No, I think it will be Samuel now. I think Dyami will play on the outside.
On the outside.
Terry. I think so.
It's hard to see Dyami playing on that. He's a small outside receiver if that's the case.
How big is Dyami Brown?
There's two numbers that come to mind. He's either 6 foot flat or 5'9". I don't know why.
He's 6 foot. He's 6 foot, 195. So that's not like massively undersized to play. It's not like he's Rondale Moore on the outside at 5'7".
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, then Curtis Samuel must be the same height or taller.
Curtis Samuel, let's find out. Why don't we? Shout out to Google.
Because my thought process is if whoever's taller has to be on the outside.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but I think that's where I have
Curtis Samuel's 5'10", but I don't feel like they need to.
You just don't have a massive receiver besides Terry, and I think that's my concern. You don't have a guy that. It's clear Terry is your X receiver. He's going to go up, can touch the catch. Does that change now? Does that change Terry's role?
Well, no, it doesn't change Terry's role, but I think it helps both of these wide receivers be more relevant with less pressure on them. Because if you have speed all over the field, you got to worry about deep ball every play. I mean, that's the Chiefs don't have like a massive wide receiver other than
Tyreek,
Travis
even though
Kelce.
he's 5'9".
You know what I mean? So
Right.
like there's still a success for formula here. I agree. First year, I think he's got top 40 upside, which is still valuable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in Dynasty, he's a guy I'm potentially targeting. Let's say Aaron Rodgers does land in Washington. Denver is probably the most likely spot, but I can dream, right? Okay, last wide receiver we're going to talk about is Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're really excited about this guy.
Yeah, look, it makes sense where he goes. I think he's going to be the slot receiver there. Who do they have? Tyrell Williams, Brashad Perryman.
I can agree he will be the slot there for sure. That makes sense.
Yeah, and the only two receivers, like I said, Tyrell Williams, Brashad Perryman. There's no one else that I can see coming in and really taking over here. I think he does win the slot.
He's got to compete with TJ Hawkinson as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
is Amon-Ra the?
You always say Amon-Ra.
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 Anyways,
we know that you're like you're the first name king.
First name king. Anyways, if you think St. Brown could be the Cooper Kupp of Jared Goff,
Mm-hmm.
How
about Raj Al Ghul? Just throwing out names so we
Did
could
you watch the
potentially
Mortal
call
Kombat
him.
movie, by the way?
No, I haven't. Well, it just looks like a waste of time.
I watched it for free, but don't tell nobody about that.
All right. Well, you just told potentially hundreds of people. All right. I like the fit as well. We both love Amon-Ra St. Brown's potential. I was surprised how many receivers were going ahead of him. I was like, are you kidding me? Amon-Ra's on the board. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So
Everyone we talked about so far went ahead of him.
Yo, what's good?
What
Thanks
up?
for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
Now,
it.
You can also subscribe
Right now.
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.